Hi there, I'm Alicia Butler-Pierre, owner of Equilibria Incorporated, a 14-and-a-half-year-old boutique operations management consulting firm. And one of the things that I specialize in doing at my company is creating systems that help owners of fast-growing businesses basically scale and structure their companies with less chaos. So today I'm going to show you another system that I not only use for myself, but that I actually help my clients to use and implement in their businesses as well. Now, quick disclaimer, this can actually be used both personally as well as professionally. So the system that I'm going to share with you today is how to make sure that you can actually enhance or increase your credit worthiness by making sure that you always pay your bills on time. Sounds very simple, but trust me, especially for my business owners out there, you know how crazy things can get on a day-to-day basis. And even with the best of intentions, you may be traveling a lot, somehow you miss those due dates, but I'm going to share with you a system to make sure that that does in fact not happen in the future. So the first thing I'd like to share with you is my personal family bill book, the Pierre Family Bill Book. And yes, I know this is a little anal, but this is what I have to do to make sure that in my household we pay our bills on time. So I have here this 3-inch black binder. Of course, it doesn't matter what color the binder is, but what you do want to make sure is that you get a binder that can truly accommodate all of your paper statements and invoices for the entire year. Now I'm going to be using some personal references, but again, you can definitely apply this to your business expenses as well. So the very first thing is I have, when you open this binder, I have a table of contents page that actually came with the dividers that I purchased. And I literally have labeled every single different type of bill. So for me, for example, there are 2 mortgage bills, there's credit card statements, utilities, and phone bill, just to give you an example. And what happens is whenever I receive a paper statement for my bill, and don't cringe for those of you who prefer to have paperless offices, I get it, I understand it. But for people like myself who are very visual, and if you don't see it, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, this is a system that will probably work really well for you. So let's just say, for example, I am checking the mail and I receive a cell phone bill from, I use Sprint. And so Sprint is actually number 15 on my divider tab system. And so I just go to number 15. And once I pay that bill, I'll just show you an example here. So this is for, I have a couple of cell phones, don't ask. Don't ask why. But because if you see the amount, you might be like, what kind of phone do you have, Alicia? That clearly can't be a smartphone, because this bill is only $35, which is very inexpensive in the US for a cell phone bill. So obviously this is not for a smartphone. This is my off the grid, don't track me phone. So what I do is, now you'll notice there's another video where I actually show you this visual system that I also have for the minute bills come in. There's a certain slot that it goes in. I'll be sure to reference that in the show notes. So when I actually go to that same system and retrieve the bills that actually need to be paid, once I pay them, I actually write the date that it was paid as well as the amount. And if there's a confirmation number, if I go online and actually pay that bill, I'll write the confirmation number as well. The reason this is so important is because let's say you have to dispute a bill for whatever reason, or there may be a vendor who says, you know, you never paid us, we never received payment. You can actually go back and say, actually, we did make that payment and it was made on this particular day, and this is the confirmation number. If you don't record that information, especially if you aren't paying these bills online, you have no defense basically. So then once I have actually written out all of that information, I then use a 3-hole puncher, and bear with me just a second. I have my 3-hole puncher here, and I literally just punch 3 holes in it, and then it goes into this binder. And I always place the latest bill that's been paid on top. The reason that's important is because as I place this particular bill that I've just paid on top of the previous month, I can readily see, did this bill go up? Did I pay more this particular month than I did the last month? It's just yet again another great way for you to keep tabs on what's going on, especially if you don't have a software system where you're literally logging this information in. Now, for those of you watching this who want to use this system on the business side, you may be saying to yourselves, well, I use a software like QuickBooks or FreshBooks or even Sage, and all this information, my bookkeeper is typing that in so I can see the trends. That's great. But again, for some of us who need to see a more visual outlook of what that actually is, especially when we're paying our bills personally, this system might work really well for you as well. And it's definitely not a replacement of the software that you're using. It really kind of supplements that software that you're using. So that is on the bill side. I also want to point out the fact that I have a monthly calendar, and I know you can't see this, so I'll just describe this. I basically went online and I just downloaded a blank monthly calendar template. I printed that out, and then I literally went in and typed in, before I printed it, I first typed in some key things. So there are certain bills that you have that you know are always due on a certain date or a certain time period of the month. So for example, in my household, we always know the mortgage is always due the first of the month. We always know that the health insurance is also due at the end of the month. So there are certain bills that are due maybe sometimes at the beginning of the month, middle of the month, end of the month. I want to be able to track that. The reason this is so helpful is because I travel a lot, and whenever I'm traveling, one of my biggest fears, and this may sound really crazy, but one of my biggest fears is that I'm going to forget to pay a bill that's due. And so whenever I'm about to travel, I always go into my bill book, I look at this, and I try to see, okay, even though certain bills may not be due this week, there may be some coming up while I'll be out of town, and I want to make sure that I don't forget to pay it before I leave, because once I start traveling, I probably will not remember to pay a certain bill. And that actually also has 3 holes already punched into it. I just keep it at the very front of my bill book, and by the end of the year, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this binder is actually full. So visually, of course, this is a 3-inch binder. I would love to be able to get this down to like 2 inches, maybe even 1 inch, because it means I have less bills. In comparison to my financial or asset book, which is only, I think this is maybe a 2-inch or maybe even 1.5-inch binder. So you look at the difference here. Bills versus assets. Now with my asset binder, I actually keep all of my financial statements. Again, this is on the personal side. All of my financial statements in terms of stocks, bonds, bank statements, statements from my credit unions, all of that information. When I receive those statements, I literally, again, similar with the bills, punch holes in it and place everything for that particular month behind a certain tab. And the tabs that I use in my asset binder looks like this. So they are literally labeled January to December. I always place it in reverse chronological order, because whenever I open my binder, I want to be able to see the tab that represents the latest month that we're in. And it's very easy to just go in and actually assess where I am financially in terms of assets, potential liabilities, and overall net worth. Now in my binder also, you may notice that there's some additional information before you get to the actual tabs. And just to give you an idea of some of the information that I keep in here, this is a tax interview checklist that I just put in a sheet protector. I also have 10 steps to better credit. So anything that helps me stay abreast on financial management principles, things to help make sure that I keep my assets growing and decrease my liabilities as much as possible to increase overall equity and net worth. That's the information that I keep in here. So that's those two systems. Again, you can apply it both personally as well as professionally. If you want to have an idea of the supplies or the materials that you need in this particular system, you just simply need a binder. You also want to figure out all of the different types of expenses that you have, because that's going to let you know how many divider tabs you'll need for your binder. One way to do that also, once you've figured out your categories, you can buy different types of divider tabs. You can buy the divider tabs that are numbered. So for example, this one happens to be numbered 1 to 31. And divider tab systems like this almost always come with a sort of table of contents type page where you can literally say, okay, behind tab 1 is my smartphone bill. Behind tab 2 is my landscaping bill, so forth and so on. You can also get the divider tabs again that are labeled by the month, so from January to December, if you prefer to organize your bills that way. You can also buy the divider tabs that are blank and where you type in or write out the information itself. So just to give you an example here, the categories that I have are bank statements, income, invoices, credit card statements, payroll expenses, so forth and so on. So that is a quick, very simple, very quick, simple, and easy system that you can start implementing at a fairly low cost. And if you're interested in creating other systems or learning about some of these other types of visual systems, definitely check out my book. It's called Behind the Facade: How to Structure Company Operations for Sustainable Success. And you can find that on Amazon. I'll have a link to it in the description box. If you have any questions about this system that I've just demonstrated in this video, please leave a comment. Please type your question out in the comment section below. I'll do my best to try to answer that as quickly as possible. And in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe so you can see more of these how-to videos with visual demonstrations. Don't forget to like, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Hi there, I hope you enjoyed the video that you just watched. My friend Jesser, who's actually recording this video right now, actually brought up a really good point, and something that I think is worth mentioning to you. Don't beat yourself up. Look, as an entrepreneur, I get it, you're very busy, and it does take a while to set these systems up. Look, I've been in business almost 15 years now, and I had to come up with these systems over a period of years, honestly, before I was able to really perfect what would work best for me and my company. But just pace yourself, don't get overwhelmed. Again, if you have questions, definitely reach out to me. You can start that by leaving a comment in the comment description below.